Still topical, back with another video. She is...
You call her Stephanie? I call her Heffany.
And he's Nathan. And today, we are trying a new concept. We are past 100 videos, so we will try to throw in some new stuff. And here's one of the ideas. I'll let good old
Heffany
explain.
So I hate unfinished business, and I don't really see the point of doing a trailer reaction if we're not going to come back and talk about what we actually thought about the movie. So that's what this is for.
Unfinished business.
Unfinished business.
There you go.
Man, that was good off the top of my noggin.
You should have said don't.
Gonna say.
All your street cred went down the drain. All 1% of it.
Good lord.
Just off the top of my dome.
Yeah. Anyways, so we can get wrangled back in here. So for the first time we're going to do this, it is the middle of October. Actually, we're in the second half of October. And all three of us went and saw Halloween together last night. And also, we did a trailer reaction to that. So we
To the second trailer, to be fair.
Right. So we just went back and rewatched our trailer reaction to refresh ourselves of what our initial impressions were when we saw the trailer, the second trailer for 2018 Halloween. And now we're going to talk about whether we were right or not in the things that we thought. So
it's your idea. Go first.
Yeah. I think my number one concern is when we were watching the trailer, I was like, I feel like this is going to be a well done movie. Like, I feel like it's going to be beautiful. I love Jamie Lee Curtis. But I'm worried that it's just going to go for more cheap scares and maybe get more distracted by some of those, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so that was probably my main concern going in, which kept me from really wanting to see it super bad. Yeah, so I think I was pleasantly surprised in the fact that I didn't get as many cheap scares, but I also didn't get super scared, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. I was more bothered throughout the whole movie because I don't like gore, and so I was more like disgusted than scared, but then the cheap scares sort of helped balance me out, the cheap scares that were in the movie, if that makes sense. Like some of those there were a few
jump scares.
Yeah, jump scares. Thank you. So there were
terminology.
Jesus. So there were moments throughout the movie where I would like jump and be like, oh, I can't believe I jumped at that, you know. But there wasn't as many as I was expecting, and then the parts that actually got to me were more of the gore and the blood.
Sure. Cool. So I think when we did the initial trailer action, a couple things that I mentioned were, I didn't entirely understand why we needed this movie, and The Strangest of Wings did a very good job later in that same video explaining why, and it did get me a little more excited about it. And I will say, after watching it, I'm glad that I don't like scary movies, and I'm glad that I watched that movie. I think it's like a great potential, but probably won't be wrap up to like the classics. I like that it kind of retcons some of the bullshit stuff that they tried to do with that franchise. I think that was really well needed. Jamie Lee Curtis did do great in it. And it was, just like you were saying, it wasn't like I accused it of being a potential cash grab during our last video, and it was a very well made movie. And I still like, every movie is made to be a cash grab. Like that's why they get made.
Yeah.
But no, I think that's a welcome addition to the list of very few horror movies that I have seen, especially in theaters.
That you like.
Yeah.
That you like.
For sure.
You said, the piggyback on the point you made off camera, was what are they, journalists?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They had a bigger part in the movie, which they didn't. You want to talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, so I think during our trailer reaction, I said something about like they showed a lot of characters in the trailer that they kind of made seem like were going to be very important.
And spoiler,
yeah,
they're not.
This is super. Yeah, spoilers if you haven't seen the movie. It's not that they're not. So like there are some people in the movie who like they literally just exist in the movie for him to kill them.
Right.
Like, and that happens. But there are other characters in the movie that like we actually get to know a little bit. They kind of make it seem like we're going to put your focus on here, and they really do not last that long.
Right.
Yeah.
And like that, it really does a great job of like balancing everyone else, and then like bringing you back to him. and like how
I enjoyed that they did that. Like,
yeah.
a lot.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I think it was great because it's just like you get to feel other emotions throughout the movie other than just scared. Because it's like, oh, I kind of like this person. I don't really like this person. So it's like someone dies you don't like, and it's just like, God, sucks to suck. But then someone that you do like dies, and it's like, oh my gosh, like where's this going to go now? Because like, and it also, we talked about this off camera too. It sets it up to where even your main characters, it's like, well, they killed those people, so like maybe this person is going to die in this scene. So
yeah, like
very
when
well done.
I sort of had an idea of where things were going, and then the dad died, and I was like, oh, this might be taking a whole new direction that I don't even see coming.
One thing the trailer didn't show was a very important character in the movie.
Yeah.
And I did not see that twist coming because the character wasn't in any of the trailers, so I thought that did a really good job.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I will be honest, I didn't like the twist. But it was...
The daughter twist?
No.
What
The doctor.
The doctor.
twist.
Yeah. Okay.
But then it was like, that was over with. Which that makes the most sense. Like,
Yeah. Well, it's like, yeah.
yeah, like, this dude is so obsessed with Michael Myers, he doesn't give a fuck. He kills him anyways, and then that's over and done with.
Yeah.
It happened real quick, and I'm glad they didn't harp on it, because I was like, this movie is going to suck if they continue this.
Right.
And it goes to the plot, it furthers the plot without harping on it, so I thought that was alright.
Yeah.
But also, in the trailer reaction, if you haven't seen it, go watch that, obviously. The eye was way above his head, like 10 minutes ago. But I thought it was going to pay homages to the original 2 films. Well, first film, actually, not 2. But it kind of does, with the second one, Burning Him Alive, which they did in the second movie. But it does pay homages, like the boyfriend being stabbed to the wall in both films. One thing in the trailer that I thought was going to be annoying was the little kid. I thought he was going to be used for cheap jump scares. And he was the star of the movie.
I love him.
His name is Julian. And he's
Kid's
amazing.
such a badass.
Yeah.
I love him.
And he has some dirty ass toenails, as he said.
Yeah. It's true. It's true.
So I thought it did a solid job. I could probably give it around like a C.
So one thing that I was like pleasantly surprised with is normally when I watch horror movies, since it's not a genre that I'm super interested in, or I really even like I know a lot about, or I go out of my way to watch a lot, is normally I watch a movie and I'm like done with it, and I'm like, okay. I like found myself driving home, and whenever I was like getting ready for bed, like thinking about like if they end up doing another film after this, what it could turn into, and like I sort of let my imagination wander with the granddaughter a little bit, because the last scene when they're driving away, she's still holding the knife, and like wondering if like could that possibly be symbolizing like a fixation that she's gonna create, and like
Well, they did that in Halloween 4.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was like
so
an homage or
if it's
setup.
It's set up, yeah.
Which I think that would be.
And I like
Or
that they
bait and
left that
switch.
like a little bit blurry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what I was texting a coworker of mine who loves the genre, shouts out Bush, and I told him I hope they don't further the film franchise. I hope they do it in a different way and have Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, and we do that one, and make it an anthology series, and don't bring back Michael Myers. Because now the internet's around, so people will be more open-minded about it, and when the film comes out, they'll be like, oh, this is going to suck when it's announced, they're going to harp on it and hate it, but when they see a trailer, and Blumhouse makes really good horror movies, and they care about what came before, I think they'll be more okay and more open-minded to go see the movie, and for it to be an anthology series like it should have been originally thought of. So hopefully they do Season of the Witch next, which I'll be happy for that, because that has a really good theme, but the execution is done terribly, I think.
So anything in the film that like totally you were like, wow, I was super wrong about that, or like maybe I should have given them more credit, or like, wow, they really blew me away.
I thought Jamie Lee was going to die.
Really?
I thought that was going to be the big twist.
Really?
Michael
You
gets
too?
away.
I believed in her.
I didn't predict that. Like, well, in that one scene where like she could potentially, it was like, okay, like if they do it here, then like that would be a great twist.
Yeah.
But like, I like the fact. I agree with you in that like there should not be more Michael Myers movies. Like, stop it.
Like that
It
was I felt like that was
perfect.
such
It
a good way to end
Just
it. Yeah.
leave it.
Nail in the coffin.
And like exactly. So like the fact that she survived, you know, gives closure to your like the heroine of the story, you know, or at least the parts of the story that everyone really cared about from the classics and things like that. So I'm cool that she survived, but if she didn't, like, that would have been
fine too.
like it really like I feel like that would have really added some like ooh to the movie, you know.
I would have added a whole nother level of depth to the daughter's reaction to her entire life, and that could have gone into a whole different, like, it could have taken the franchise in a whole different direction.
Yeah.
But like now, it's just like, where should she go from here? Well, there has to be something else evil out there. Like, that's my guess. Or she comes to terms with it, and then that doesn't need to be a movie.
Well, that's why I'm like, what if... That's where I sort of took my brain in terms of what if the granddaughter responds really poorly to this whole situation and is like, I defended my family, and now, like, I went, like, vigilante in my head and all this stuff, and I was like, and then having Jamie Lee sort of walking her through that. I don't know. I turned into my head the next movie into a drama because that's who I am.
Fair. That'd be interesting and different.
But this was Unfinished Business with Cinetopical. And if you like the idea, tell us how we did good on it, how we sucked on the idea. First time doing it. Give us improvements. Yeah, that's the video. Like, comment, subscribe.
Dope man. Dope man, coke man. Yeah. I play the Porsche 918. I mean a spider, you do not know what I mean. I got a driver for my drop top limousine. Go ask your bitch, I bet she